My name's Delonte Heron. I'm 15 years old. I'm in 10th grade. I go to MNIC High School. Some of my interests are dancing, music recording, and basketball.
Before we get into this documentary, man, you know, Project F.E.E.D, we're an after-school kind of program. And, you know, there's a lot of need for after-school kind of activities for young people like yourself. Talk a little bit, man, about sports. And playing ball is one thing that, you know, is obviously something that you can get involved with. But what are some of the things, man, that young people like yourself, what do you think is also some other kind of needs for after school programming, you know, just to build other areas of your mind and your body and maybe deal with things outside of athletics or sports? What are some kind of creative things that have sparked your interest?
Art. Art, and sometimes like sculptures and stuff like that.
So you're an artist?
Sort of.
With the arts, what do you think the tool, the art, is for you? I mean, is that another way for you to express yourself, or how do you view your interest in arts?
Art is another way of showing emotion without words.
Let me give you a pound. Congratulations. This is official. We are in our last session of Project F.E.E.D. You are the last man standing. I commend you for stepping up to the plate. You know, in Project F.E.E.D, we definitely believe in what we're doing, and we definitely reward those who participate on an excellent level. And so I appreciate you stepping to the plate and striving to seek opportunities for yourself. Let's go ahead and get into this, man. This is Jamel Shabazz. I think you'll find this very interesting. He uses the art that what you're talking about, and his art is photography. It's definitely a way that he's used to express some of his emotion and thoughts without the words, the power of the visual image. So let's go ahead and check this out. Jamel Shabazz, street photographer. This is Project F.E.E.D, and we're on the south side of anywhere in America. Peace. Why don't you just give me your thoughts about what do you think about this movie so far, especially in terms of what you're saying, you know, using art sometimes to express your emotion without saying any words. How do you feel Jamel Shabazz has used that philosophy of what you just talked about prior to even seeing this?
I think that he's just like trying to show people how he lived and what he grew up around. And I think he wanted to show people like how it was to be alive back then, and what was trending, stuff like that.
Do you see any similar stories or similar kind of people or environments that Jamel Shabazz has talked about in your neighborhood? And do you see yourself potentially being able to use photography to express yourself?
Yes, I do see a lot of similar things. Like, I see a lot of people like walking around with like, it's not boom boxes, but like a lot of people, like they listen to a lot of music, like just like the people in the movie. Like, people were in love with music back then. People are in love with music now, and the environment is just the same. Like, everybody rocks the same thing now. Everything that's trending back then is kind of coming back nowadays.
You see, what is your view of hip-hop back then? You know, we call it hip-hop. It's a music, it's a culture. But when you look at these images that Jamel Shabazz is talking about and some of the things that are going on in this documentary, how do you feel about what you're seeing in hip-hop back then?
I think hip-hop was way better back then.
Why do you say that?
Because people changed it and messed it up.
That's deep. That's what's happening. All right, we're going to continue on. Jamel Shabazz, street photographer, Project F.E.E.D. And I'm sitting here with the excellent young brother who's taking the ride with us. And once again, could you say your name, how old you are, and what school you go to?
My name's Delonte Heron. I'm 15 years old and I go to MNIC High School.
Project F.E.E.D, we just wrapped up a really good fitting ending documentary for our 5-week session. My brother, just introduce yourself one more time to the listening audience and say your name and age and what school you go to, all right?
My name's Delonte Heron, 15 years old. I'm in 10th grade and I go to MNIC High School.
My brother Delonte, we just got out done watching this excellent documentary, Jamel Shabazz, street photographer. I see you wrote a few notes down. Why don't you talk a little bit about the last part of the film today as we ended it out? What were some of the things that stood out to you on your notes?
Some things that stood out to me is that the way Jamel inspired people to change themselves. The people that he's seen, like, on the streets and stuff. He had, like, friends out there, and he talked to them, and a lot of them changed. And another thing that interested me was that how Jamel liked to, like, document other religions and things that he's interested in.
He also touched on the veterans who were a part of war, documenting them as well as Masonic organizations, police, fraternities, and different institutions that basically kind of lived around or was a part of his neighborhood, part of his city, part of the culture of New York City. We're actually moving to do a piece with you. And to kind of wrap up this whole Project F.E.E.D experience, this is definitely something that, is an after-school program. And what we're trying to do is add more, things for young brothers and sisters like you and others to give them opportunities to, have that voice that you talked about initially. And some of that voice is coming through the arts with this particular project. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you said that you wanted to do using the ideas of the subject matter of this particular documentary film? How did you want to incorporate that into your final project?
I wanted to document people that I knew and people that I knew had an interesting story and things that goes on around my community and the things that I grew up around.
And talk a little bit about who that is and who you decided to pick and why.
First person is I chose my grandpa's best friend, his longtime friend, Michael. And I thought he had an interesting story because, like, he's been here a while and he's seen a lot of things. He has a business on Lake in Chicago called the Hip Hop Shop, and it's been there for a while. And he has a lot of interesting things that goes on around him.
Right. Lastly, there was a theme that kind of was in this movie too. Brother Jamel Shabazz really talked about the importance of documenting people, and then the power behind those photographs when the people have transitioned and passed away. How important do you think it is to looking at a story like this or a documentary like this, how important is it to document your story or the stories of people around you? You know what I mean? Like, how important is that to a community?
I think it's important because everybody has a story, and a lot of people might be interested in it, and a lot of people don't have the heart to tell people, or the courage or bravery or whatever you want to call it. And the importance of it is, like, me trying to give them the voice that they don't like have inside of them.
That's what's up, brother. Now, lastly, is there anything that you want to say to Brother Jamel Shabazz before we get out of here? You know, we might have some connections with the brother to, you know, give him some words, you know, after watching this documentary. Anything you want to shout out to him?
All I want to say is thank you, because he's inspired me. It was just by this one little documentary. He inspired me to do a lot of things.
That's what it is. Project F.E.E.D. You know, we couldn't get to any better conclusion with that. I'm glad you're inspired, young brother. I really look forward to your project, your ending project, which is documenting your grandfather's friend, Brother Michael, from the hip hop shop, which is definitely a pillar in this community. And I just look forward to, you know, how you put that together, how we put it together so we can present it to maybe your peer group and others, so we can showcase your work. All right.
Yo, Herb, take it from the top. 1, 2. My mic sound nice. Check 1. My mic sound nice. Check 2. My mic sound nice. Check 3.
I'm Delonte, 15 years old, go to MNIC High School. This is Project F.E.E.D at Richard Green Central.